Danny watches a lot of television and movies. John does not. Listen in as she tells him about what she's watching, and he tries to make sense of it all. Welcome to Watching My Stories with Danny and John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Watching My Stories.
Another action-packed edition.
I'm Danny.
I'm John.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure my microphone's actually on. I feel like I can't hear me very well.
I can hear you.
Really?
Yes.
How about no?
Even better.
Hello?
Too much.
How about no? Can you hear this?
Stop being a weirdo and just talk.
Oh, I'm a weirdo.
Yes, you are. But you're my weirdo.
Aww. Collective. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry.
Check.
Feeling a little out of it.
You
also, allergies are completely killing me. I know I'm always nasally, but I might be extraordinarily nasally. Woo!
That was clean.
That's it. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks for that input. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. Movies.
Yes, we like them.
Yes.
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some. Okay, so the first movie I watched this week is called The Darkest Minds. It stars Amanda Stenberg. She was Rue in Hunger Games. Remember in the first one, she was the little girl that died.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great. Like, she has grown up into doing such great things. She was in that movie Everything that I really liked. She's grown up in it, and it was a good movie. I like that. And then she was in something else, and now she's in that movie that's out right now, The Hate You Give, which I can't wait to see.
I haven't heard of any of these.
Okay. Anyway, really like her. So that was the main reason I wanted to watch this movie, actually.
Okay.
And so it's about like something happens where 90% of kids are killed and the 10% remaining develop these abilities. So it's never fully explained, at least I didn't get it, as to if this was some sort of genetic thing that rushed across the world, or if it was an alien invasion, or like they keep saying war, but I don't know. There's never any presence of anything else. So anyway, of course the government freaks out because now there are all these kids that have abilities, and so they start a whole like labor camps where they bring in kids and they separate them by their abilities by colors. Mm-hmm. She is an orange, and oranges are the most powerful, so she's supposed to be killed right away, but she gets away with it, and she plays like she's a green, which is the least level, and tries to get away with it. Anyway, so it turns out there's kind of this whole thing where finally she gets out, and there's different groups that want to help kids around the world, and other kids out there that are all kind of out there trying to just live without getting caught and that sort of thing. So it was really interesting. And I'll tell you what, the first minute of the movie like grasped me. It was just a really cool opening, and I was like, it was like, it was.
Wait a minute, it grasped you?
Yeah.
As opposed to grabbing you? I'm sorry, it's okay. It's not often a word you hear used.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
That really grasped me. Whew, okay. I'm going to try to get past that.
Obviously, he's not.
It's not going to be easy.
Okay. So
right.
It was a movie that I kind of put on, and I was doing laundry and whatever. But I mean, it really.
It grasped.
It grasped me. So I kind of stopped what I was doing and paid attention.
Oh man.
So overall, it's not things were interesting about it. Like, I kind of love these sorts of movies, like Hunger Games and things like that.
I got to be honest, it sounds very divergent to me.
Yeah, it's like I like all of that. I like all of those, and I like that idea. The issue that I have with it is I felt like it never really explained itself enough, though. I didn't really understand what was happening. And there were these different groups out there, and I couldn't really grasp. Now I'm never going to be able to use that word again.
Well, that's
I couldn't really get what these groups do and which one was bad and which one was good, except for like the obvious bad ones. So it was a little confusing in that, but I really like this girl, Amanda Stenberg. She's just so good, and she's so far the couple of movies I've seen that she's carried, she just does a great job. And I found myself throughout the movie going, I really like that this is a girl lead in this type of thing. And there was a little bit of a romance, but what I liked about it was there was a much more there's action and there's a lot of emotion to it. And so as I was watching it, I was just like, gosh, they've done a really good job about kind of rounding out this character of hers.
Okay.
And then I looked, and it was directed by a woman. So that makes sense then. You know, it's like I'm finding now when I have these feelings during films, and then I look and I go, oh, a woman wrote it or a woman directed it, which again, we never really used to have those options. You know, it never used to be as frequent as it is now. Mm-hmm. Now I can sit back, and when I see that, I go, oh, that makes sense. Now I get why I was feeling so like she was just such a full character. Mm-hmm. So I really like the characters. I think it's entertaining enough. I mean, I kept watching. It was entertaining enough. There was just story problems that I had with it. So because of that, I'm just giving it 3 stars. But if you like her, and I think teens would probably like this a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, it's different but the same to all those movies that we've mentioned already, you know. So it's but it's fine. It's good.
Was there anybody else in it that we would know? Mandy
Moore's in it.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot, but she's in it.
Some Mandy Moore is better than none.
And there's a kid in it. The kid that she like hooks up with, I was really liking too. And I was like, oh, this kid's going to be good. And then I looked him up, and he was in that show that came out over the summer about, with Donald Sutherland. They were doing the Getty. He played the young Getty kid,
yeah, okay.
Which I watched the first episode of that. And the kid who was playing the young Getty kid was really good, and that was this kid. Okay. So he's good, and he's English, and you know, probably going to do good things too.
Oh, a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was worth it. You know, again, maybe Netflix and that sort of thing, but spending money on it maybe was a little too much.
Any particular favorite part of it, or just overall? Anything really stand out in the movie, I guess?
Not really. It was an overall thing of just her character that. Okay. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of emotions to families and friends. And then there's also this love interest thing. And I just liked being able to see all of that. And it wasn't, you know, overly done in one way or another.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was the name of the movie?
The Darkest Minds.
And where can people find it?
It's on pay-per-view now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it made its way through the theaters. It's done. It's very cool.
Yeah.
What else you got going?
Second movie I watched is a documentary called 3 Identical Strangers. I don't know if you ever saw this a few months ago when it was coming out.
I saw the title somewhere.
Yes. So it starts out with the story of these 3 guys who back in the early 80s found each other, and they were triplets separated at birth, identical triplets that had been separated at birth and adopted.
And how old were they in the 80s?
They were 19 when they found each other.
Okay.
And it was a complete fluke that they found each other. One went to a community college, and on the first day of community college was walking around, and his name was Bobby, and everyone was calling him Eddie. And it was like, hey, Eddie, great to see you back, you know, all that stuff. And a friend of Eddie's came into the room and saw Bobby, and he knew Eddie wasn't coming back to school that year. So he looked at him and he was like, you know, who are you? And he's like, I'm Bobby. He goes, were you adopted? And this is the first day of school. And Bobby's like, yeah. And he goes, come with me. We got to call this guy Eddie.
Okay. So not to interrupt, but these guys knew that they were adopted, but they didn't necessarily know they were part of a triple package.
Parents had never been told that they were multiple siblings.
But they all knew that they were adopted.
But they all knew they were adopted.
Okay.
So Bobby and this guy go and call Eddie, and he's like, hey, you know, what was the agency? What's your birth date? It all matches up. They drive that night and go meet each other.
Oh, wow.
So the two meet each other. A paper in New York, this is all New York, a paper in New York catches wind of this, and they publish a huge story about it, pictures and all that stuff. Well, then another family is looking at this article going, did you see this? And this third kid is sitting there going, that's me. And again, in the article is the birth date, the agency that they went through. And this dude then has to pick up the phone and call these others and go, I think I'm the third.
Oh my God.
And so they all get together, and it's instant, like this instant connection of just, here are our lives. They all grew up in New York.
Yeah.
Similarities, all that sort of stuff. And they started like this kind of whole whirlwind tour. They were on Donahue. They were on all the morning shows.
Mm-hmm.
Just everyone was, enamored with these triplets that found each other after all this time.
Can you imagine after the three of them got together, they were probably like, okay, how many more are there?
Right. Yeah. So, and the parents got pissed at that point, and they went back to the agency and said, why didn't you ever tell us that they were, that they were multiples and stuff? And the agency blew them off, and it was a big thing. But at the time, they're just kind of, the kids are just riding high on this. They're just loving that they have these siblings and all that. And they actually opened a restaurant in New York City called Triples or Triplets. I think it was called Triplets.
What were their names?
Eddie, Bobby.
Oh, okay.
Shoot, what was the other one?
That's too bad they all didn't start with a D. They could have called it Triple D.
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense back then. Anyway.
I didn't say it was a great idea.
So they're all riding high, and they're, they get married, they're having kids, all that sort of stuff. And then they start to figure out, we don't really know each other. Like, we have all these similarities, but we also have a bunch of differences as well. And it starts to come out about things of like the difference in the households they grew up in. So one grew up in a blue collar home, one in a middle class, and one in the dad was a doctor, so more upper class.
Mm-hmm.
So then the story turns at that point, and it turns to this research guy who starts talking about how he came upon the study that was being done. And it turns out that like for 20 years, basically 60 something to 80 something, this researcher was doing a study on identical siblings that are separated at birth. But it turns out, and here's the whole twist to the documentary, and I'm just going to give it up, is this agency that these triplets came from were in cahoots with this.
So they did it intentionally.
It was an intentional deal.
Oh, bastards.
And it turns out that these guys, they remember these researchers came to their home once a year for years and years, and did tests on them and all that. Their adoptive parents were just told they were just doing a study on adopted kids, period.
Yep.
So it turns out that there are tons of sets of twins, and who knows about another set of triplets that had gone through this agency, were separated purposefully, and then studied by this man. And that's pretty hard to take.
Oh my God.
There's another set of twins on the documentary. These women, that same thing. They were part of this study, and then they found each other years and years and years later.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just being angry. Well, the guy's dead now. The study was actually never released, and all you can assume is it's because of this. It's because he was separating siblings on purpose, and not. So imagine being the person who was doing the at-home studies. These kids all grew up in in different boroughs of New York and different cities, but within 100-mile radius, the three of them lived.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's going to one house and doing a test, and then going to the other house and doing a test, and going to the next house and doing a test, all knowing that these guys have identical siblings, and is denying them that knowledge.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all three kids as infants in their cribs would bang their heads up against the cribs, and the parents never knew what was going on. Now we can assume there's anxiety separation that they were going through. All three kids had huge depression in their teen years and were actually committed at some point. Does that have to do with being separated and just having no clue?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of the documentary is this whole nurture versus nature thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys in adulthood, he actually killed himself. Could not shake the depression. Now, he grew up with the doctor. He was the middle class kid and didn't have a close relationship with his parents and stuff. And, it's just, there's a lot of discussion of the nature versus nurture issue in the whole thing, and what these kids were denied and how their families might have been, or how their lives might have been different. You know, and these are all Jewish kids. So then again, the parents that are on this documentary, and you know, the relatives are like, our family went through the Holocaust and then this happened, and you start toying with our lives again, like not okay.
Yeah,
you know?
really. Oh man.
I mean, it's amazing. So the agency is obviously no longer around. And they found, so the researcher was at Yale. He had like 10,000, you know, documents from his study. They have released some of it to these guys. All of that happened after the documentary was made. But what they said at the very end was just nothing of any real interest has been found in what they've been given. So it's kind of also feels like it's all in vain too. Nothing was really discovered because of this study. So it's a very interesting, I mean, I know I just kind of gave the whole spin, but obviously it's so worth watching, to watch these guys talk about everything, to see. There's one of the guys that did the home studies, and there's the woman who was like the assistant to the main researcher. They will make you sick. They sit there and laugh. And the one woman's like, well, back then this just wouldn't have been considered a problem. You know, and it's like, I don't think anyone ever would have thought this was okay.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I don't think so.
There was never a period in time where that would have been okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, it's worth seeing them and their reaction to this stuff, and then just seeing what these families have gone through and all of that. So it's really good though. It's one of those compelling stories that you can't make that crap up, you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I can't imagine, and I know my conscience.
Yeah.
There's no way I could be a worker in that study.
No.
I couldn't knowingly go around and know that the three people I was visiting that day were triplets.
The guy's like laughing about it. He goes, yeah, sometimes I had to catch myself from saying, hey, you know, your brother does the exact same thing, you know, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Wow. Are you serious that you just want to walk around? You know, it's horrendous.
Yeah, they should do a study on those people.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's a bigger psychological screw up than.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad.
Yeah. So that's Three Identical Strangers documentary. Again, that's right now a rental, but I'm sure it'll come out.
Where did you see it? Was it on Netflix or something?
No, it's a rental. It's a pay-per-view thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, but I gave it 4 stars. Really good, interesting, definitely worth checking out.
Cool. Very cool.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about something before we get into television. I just want to talk about kind of a cross-promotion thing that we're doing with another podcast. The other podcast is called Pop Culture Nickel. And they're another husband and wife. They're up in Canada, and
Canada, woohoo!
Yay!
I love Canada.
Wish we were there.
Yeah. I grew up I could see Canada from my house.
Thanks.
I could.
I know you could. And he's actually right around there. No, I forget the name of the town, but he's like right there, Michigan area. So
okay,
close enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah.
He reached out to me. So what they do is they're called Pop Culture Nickel. They do top 5 lists of things in pop culture. It's actually, it's pretty interesting.
That's a good way to do it.
So he reached out to me and he said, you know, I know you're a huge Friends fan. Yes, I am. And so the Friends series is notorious for their Thanksgiving episodes. Everyone loves the Thanksgiving episodes. So he said, hey, would you be willing to give us 5 episodes of the Thanksgiving ones, and we'll watch them, rank them on our show right before Thanksgiving, and then you can also, you know, turn around on your show and give your ranking and compare it to ours and all that sort of thing. I said, that sounds great. So I did. I sent him I went from the 10, obviously there were 10 seasons. I gave him what my top 5 were in order of how they were aired. I didn't rank them. And so they're watching that, and then their episode is going to come out the Wednesday before Thanksgiving of ranking theirs. So
like the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously I'll be talking about this in the coming weeks to remind everyone to listen. And then the weekend after, because our shows come out on Sundays, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I will speak about how they rank them and how it compares to us ranking.
Okay. And what's the name of this podcast again?
Pop Culture Nickel.
Okay.
So right now I'm going to play their promo so
Okay.
everyone can listen about them and check them out.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of the biggest celebrity monkeys?
Or how about the best TV resurrections?
If so, join me, Mark Rushlow,
And his lovely wife, Jeanette.
on Pop Culture Nickel, where we share random pop culture top 5 lists.
Stay fresh at popculturenickel.podbean.com and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Pop-Tart Nation awaits.
Just couldn't let me get the last word in, could you?
Nope.
So that's Mark
Oh my
and
god,
Jeanette.
I love Canadians. They're so cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so sweet.
Yeah. So I also thought I would just let you know the episodes that I gave him so that if anyone at home wants to watch what I consider my top 5, that you can watch them. I'm rewatching them with John too, because he's not as, he doesn't live and breathe Friends like I do. So here are the 5 that I gave to Pop Culture Nickel podcast so that they can rank. The first is from season 3. It's the one with the football.
Mm-hmm.
Then season 5, the one with all the Thanksgivings. Season 6, the one where Ross got high. Season 8, the one with the rumor. And season 9, the one with Rachel's other sister. So to me, those are the top 5 out of the 10. And then we will be, Pop Culture Nickel, we will be ranking theirs, and we will compare our
Okay.
ranking as well to theirs.
So we watched the one with the football last night.
Yep.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I know of one other Thanksgiving episode. I don't want to throw it out here, but I know that one's going to be tough to beat. So
Okay.
I don't
You
know
just don't
by
know the
name.
titles,
I
right.
don't know it by name. I don't know which one of those it was, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a fun thing that we've got coming up in a couple weeks, and we will keep you posted.
Okay.
So now we're going to move on to TV. I am first going to talk about the Amazon series Homecoming with Julia Roberts that just came out yesterday.
Okay.
And I finished it this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't sleep well last night then.
I was up late. I was
Yeah.
up until about a little past 10, and I had one more episode to go, and I was like, I can't do it. I'm just going to have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and then I watched it this morning.
Okay.
So there are 10 episodes. They're half-hour episodes. So again, it's a really easy watch.
Mm-hmm.
So Homecoming, it stars Julia Roberts. And every episode is directed by Sam. I'm going to assume it's Eshmael. Could be Esmail, but he is Israeli, I believe. So Eshmael, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
He's the creator of Mr. Robot.
Oh, okay.
So he directed every episode of this, and that was actually Julia's request that he direct every episode.
Oh, very cool. Good for him.
Yeah, this is based off of a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I never listened to the podcast, so I can't make comparisons. The story is basically Julia is a counselor at her name's Heidi, at a place called Homecoming, and it's where they're bringing in some soldiers that have been deployed. They're bringing them here to try and reacclimate them into civilian life. So they practice job interviews, they practice shopping, they practice like meeting up at a bar to have a drink with your friend. They get them, used to sleeping alone again, all that sort of
So
stuff.
they're back from the war and trying to get reacclimated.
Exactly.
And put this behind them.
Right.
Okay.
So we are focused in on Heidi and her counseling sessions with a guy, Walter Cruz, and I should have had his name written down because he's fantastic. He was also in Selma. He played John Lewis in Selma, and he was great in that. And I really, really liked him in this. So we go back and forth actually from 2018, which is in this is the past, to 4 years into the future. What is his name? Stephen James is his name. Could be Stephen James. And Bobby Cannavale's in it. He is Julia Roberts' boss. And then so we go 4 years into the future. Julia is a waitress now, and she starts to get visited by someone who works for the DOD investigating a potential complaint from this Walter Cruz that he was kept captive in Homecoming. And it turns out she doesn't remember anything. She doesn't have any memories of working for Homecoming or what it was, her boss, nothing. So we go back and forth. We go back to 2018 when Walter Cruz is in Homecoming. homecoming and we watch these counseling sessions happen and her interactions with her boss. And then we keep jumping to the future and trying to unravel what this mystery is and what actually happened.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a little mind bender.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know about Mindbender, but it's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Okay. We'll leave
So, yeah. So you're trying to figure out, how did she lose her memory? What was
Right.
Homecoming really doing to these soldiers? You know, what kind of conspiracy could be going on?
Yep.
All of that.
Okay.
It's a very interesting story. So I want to separate it because there's the story and then there's the way the story is being told in this series.
Okay.
The story itself is interesting. I'm sure the podcast was good and told it well. I'm not sure I would be as compelled if I wasn't watching this series the way it was told. So, Julia's great. The Stephen James is great. Everyone's very good in it. It's very well, it's a good story. I feel like maybe there could have been a little more of an explanation. Again, you know, I feel like we weren't entirely told everything, but maybe we were, and I just might have missed it.
So was it only going to be the one season? Are they saving stuff?
There's a second season. I don't know if it's going to be these same people.
Okay.
I think, to me, this tied itself up, but I don't know. So I don't know. But I do know that they have said there's going to be a second season.
So you think it's tied itself up without revealing everything?
No, well, it's there. There's a lot to interpretation, but here's the great part.
Okay.
This kid, and he's probably not a kid, he's probably, mid-30s, but Sam Esmail, I watched a few of the first episodes of Mr. Robot, and I really liked it. I thought, I remember thinking it looked cool, and I liked the idea of it. I think at the time it was just one of those years where I had a ton of things and I didn't stick with it.
Right.
Now I kind of regret it, actually, because watching what he did for this series, it was so. Here's the other thing. I was probably in the third or fourth episode, and I was like, God, this feels like Stanley Kubrick did these. And then I looked him up some more, and he did a Stanley Kubrick marathon as a kid for his parents or something, and I was like, okay, I get it, because it felt like that's what it felt like. There's creepy music. And there's so much, there are scenes that are just so, it's shot in a really cool, different way that I haven't seen on other television shows. And some of these long shots, he did some long one-shots, tracking shots that involve Julia and Bobby Cannavale being on the phone together. And he'll split the screen so we can see both of them. And I swear I don't know how it's done.
For the entire conversation or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be one shot and they're both walking and doing stuff and they're talking to each other. And normally when you shoot a phone call, someone's off behind the camera saying the other lines. Maybe it's the actor. Maybe it's a production assistant just saying the lines so the person can have a reaction.
I've always thought the smart thing to do is have them actually on the phone, because then it's going to be authentic.
Yeah. I have no idea, because they're in two separate locations. They're, like I said, single tracking shots. One, Bobby's walking through his house and then outside, and the whole time, and they're both reacting like they are on the phone. I'm certain that's not what happened, but it's really amazing. It's really, at one point I'm like, are they lip syncing like Drunk History? Did they tape the phone call beforehand and now they're lip syncing? I was seriously I don't know how it was done.
Right. Okay.
And they did this multiple times.
Okay.
Over the series. And that's just that. I mean, let alone it's really hard to explain visually what he did to this, but it puts you in a mood that makes the story, in my opinion, more intriguing and more compelling than it actually is.
Well, anytime you can add any authenticity like that, it's gonna help.
It was amazing because of the music and the feel, and he will zoom and then he'll zoom out, and then he used different ratio or different perspectives for when we're in the future and she can't remember anything. So, it'd be full screen, full widescreen normally, basically in the past, and then when we would go to where we're in the future and she can't remember anything, it would look like, how when you
Like a letterbox format or
it's
something?
not. It's when you record on your phone in vertical and then you watch it on the wide,
the
and
bars
it goes
on the
to
side.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a normal. It's not the normal old TV ratio. It's a new one, and so it was.
Okay.
It was like that, and it helped because again, you're like, oh, now we're here,
You're
and we're kind of closed in,
subconsciously restricted, or
right?
something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like it was just whatever. This show is worth watching because of how he shot it and how he's visually telling the story more than the story itself.
Okay.
Even though the story is very interesting, but without what he did in directing this, I think I might have been a little bored. So yeah.
So cinematically, it gets 5 stars.
Yes.
Okay.
I everyone's great in it. And I honestly didn't know where it was going. You know, I let it tell me the story.
Okay.
And so again, I think that's because of how he was telling it to me. I was just all in. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to sit back and let you tell me this. I'm not figuring this out on my own.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome because that's not how you normally watch
Right.
those.
But I also had to watch it all in one sitting so that way I could get to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. You can't go wrong with Julia Roberts. You can't go wrong with any of them in this cast, but pay attention to the lighting and to the moods. I mean, staircases look better than I've ever seen staircases look. It's really, it was it felt like a throwback, but it also felt like new.
Okay.
So I don't know how he did it, but I'm whatever this kid does next, I'm going to watch it.
How many episodes?
10
And they're
in half hour.
Half-hour episodes?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's only 5 hours.
Exactly. And they go by so fast. Like by the time the end was showing, I was like, what? No, like what's next? You know, I mean, it would just pop up on me. Yeah.
Anybody can watch 5 hours of television.
I would
Come
hope
on,
so.
people.
Wake up.
Sorry.
Okay, so that's Homecoming. Next, I want to talk about a new late night show.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
So I had talked a couple weeks ago about Busy Phillips' book that I read.
Yes, you did.
And I mentioned her show that was coming on.
Yes,
and
you did.
Sunday night it started,
Yes, it
called
did.
Busy Tonight on E! And I don't think you saw the first one, but then the rest of the week I happened to watch it with John being around while he was doing his stuff, and he ended up liking it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I did not anticipate that.
I didn't anticipate you liking it either. I was very shocked. I wasn't actually sure what I was going to think because I knew it was going to be a different thing, but I didn't know how different it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this has been an interesting thing in that, you know, she's in the late night space. So everyone keeps saying she's, you know, a female in the late night space, and that's new. The only other one we have right now is Samantha Bee. Samantha Bee is all political, and
Busy is not.
Busy's there's, you know, undertones or whatever.
Every
but-
once in a while she touches on something.
Yeah.
It's not political.
But it's her, and she sits on a couch and she talks about stuff. And here's the thing. It's truly more about being female too. She's got 3 female writers. They talk about female things, whether it be diva cups and periods or,
Yep.
you know, ghosts, or, I mean, there were only 4 episodes. She's only on from Sunday through Wednesday. And every night she had a different guest. I think we saw Kristen Bell and Megan Mullally, and who else was on?
I was afraid you were going to ask me.
Yeah, no, I can't even remember.
I don't recall.
Mindy Kaling was the first night.
Yeah, she was the one you said was too dressed up or
No,
overdressed.
she wasn't. It was just, you know, Busy. She kind of pulls her feet up on the couch, and I think
She's very casual.
her guest will start to get into that mode as
Yeah.
well. But for the first guest, I think Mindy was kind of like, I don't know what I should do.
Yeah,
How should
yeah.
I say, you know?
Yeah.
But I think other people will definitely get into it and become more, you know, she's got drinks there every night. And it's like she comes out, I was kind of like, oh, is she going to do a monologue or whatever? But she kind of comes out, she talks about some pop culture stuff that everyone who watches E! cares about. And she puts a little spin on it. Her writers do some jokes. They bring the guest out. They just kind of powwow for a bit. And maybe there's a little video or something of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Vanessa Hudgens was also on this week.
That's
yeah.
who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is different though, because it feels like, you know, like there was one guest that was on, I was like, did she have anything to promote? Because she didn't promote anything. And that's just my brain saying that's the point of coming on these shows, is to promote something.
That's the formula that's
Right.
out there, right?
But I don't think that really matters in this case. It's really just kind of like, come on, talk about some ghosts. You know?
Yeah, so you could just tell that Busy Phillips is a huge fan of Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
Really likes The Good Place and just wanted to have her on.
Right.
And they talked about The Good Place, which came back a couple weeks ago. But it wasn't a promo for the show. It was just a conversation with somebody she really wanted to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
And it was great. I thought I really like this show. I like it so much more than I thought I would. It was because it's different, and she's just very comfortable and at ease.
Yeah, it felt fresh and not forced, and because that's what I was afraid of. I was like, is she really going to try and do a monologue and tell jokes, you know?
Yeah.
And luckily, like, there's some jokes in there, but it's more like, here's my opinion on what I saw on Instagram type thing.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, ba-dum-bumsh.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I liked it. I think it's on at 10 o'clock Eastern, so we get it here at 7, so we've been able to watch it the same night.
Yeah. That's late night for us.
Yeah. And it's fresh. Even the set just feels fresh. I'm looking forward to who she's going to have on. She has a phone directly for Oprah to call to book herself on, which would be all of us. I mean, I think that's why I think Busy got so popular on Instagram with her stories, is because she is just being herself and she let all of us in. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she's also there, like, Oprah can come on anytime and here's your phone to call us directly. Right. That would be any of us if we got a show.
Absolutely.
Even though she's been in this business for 20 years, she still has the same thing. And I'm just going to reiterate her book. It'll only hurt a little. Definitely a great read.
Yeah.
So many great stories in there. And again, it's something that I think if you like her, you'll like the book, you'll love the show. But I think if you just like pop culture in general, you'll like the show, because it seems like she's just going to have good, fun people on and just have fun versus having to like come up with a story to tell. Like, that's the other complaint I always hear people when they're going on these talk shows, is they have to come up with a story and then they have to tell the producer, here's the story I'm going to talk about. And then the host has to be like, steer the conversation, and so you can tell that story. And I don't think that's what's happening here. You know, like this, like they're coming out going, hey, I heard you were talking about this. I remember I dealt with this or whatever. Yep. So it just feels more relaxed, and that's fun.
Yeah, and I can say this from probably a slightly different perspective.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe. I have always found Busy Phillips, I like her, but I've always found her slightly annoying.
Yeah.
Right? And so when Dhani first said, hey, you want to watch the show with me? I thought, well, okay, you know, I hope it's not all annoying.
Yeah.
And it turns out, so watching her on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, she can be annoying to me. But this show, I have not found her annoying yet. Not at all. Not it's her doing her thing, and I don't know if it's the format, if it's the three women that help her out, if it's I'm not sure what it is, but it just all works really well to me.
Yeah. And she sings a good night song every night.
She does, and it's cute.
Yeah.
And she's got a good voice, actually.
She's sang a lot of things, but
which I didn't know until this week. So
yeah. And it's just it's kind of that breath of fresh air we kind of need right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you and I, we got sick of the political shows. We're like just cynical about so much that this is like, it's sunshine and happiness. And right now, maybe that just feels really good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. So that's Busy tonight. Mm-hmm. Sunday nights through Wednesday nights on E.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to one other television show I just want to talk about. I had kind of a text go between with my mom and sister on this too, and I just feel like I want to talk about it because I think I'm done with it, which is A Million Little Things. I know I've brought it up in the past, and now we're, I don't know, 8 shows in or something, and it's like, it's almost like I could have created this show, because it's kind of like, let's think of every depressing thing that anyone could ever want or not want in their lives, and let's put it in one show. it's just like, it's the most incredible, the whole basis of the show was that one of the friends in this friend pack kills himself. That's sad enough. We don't need any more. But it turns out every single person, everywhere you turn, there's a sad sack waiting to come out and like tell their sad sack story. And this was ABC's answer to This Is Us. And I get that, but you can't, again, you can't duplicate something.
Yeah, I think the term is feeble attempt to copy.
This show, it's trying so hard. We've got one dude that also was killing himself on that same day and spit the pills out when he found out his other friend had killed himself. Now he wants a kid. His wife doesn't. His wife is trying to open a restaurant. Well, they're struggling with money and all that. Another guy is a breast cancer survivor, and he met a girl at a breast cancer survivors group. Well, now she has cancer again, and she doesn't want to get treatment. So now we got to deal with watching her die. Another guy was having an affair with the suicide guy's wife, and then he kills himself, so now they feel guilty. Well, his wife found out, so now he's separating from his wife. The suicide guy's wife is now pregnant with the affair's baby after her husband has killed himself. Like, it's her dad also is fighting Alzheimer's or dementia. Let's just throw that in there. What else? It's just
Can we be done with this review? I'm sad.
It's just it's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I'm too melancholy to go on.
Who would want to continue to be part of this friend group? Like, it's so
yeah, I would start to distance myself.
It's just, there's in every episode, there's something more. Like another thing. Oh, now you're pregnant. Oh, no, it's like, oh my God, stop trying so hard. It was sad enough just dealing with a friend who killed himself.
How many episodes in are they?
I think 7 or 8.
Man.
And I don't know where they're taking this. And then on top of all of this is the reason I feel like I don't want to watch anymore.
Okay.
The guy who killed himself, which was Ron Livingston, he had an assistant. When he jumped off the balcony, he left a folder with his wife's name on it. The assistant took the folder and never showed it to the wife. She's read the letters. She deleted stuff off of his computer. She's gone into their home and found stuff on his home computer. She's gone to she's gone to now a secret mailbox he had and found all these past due notices. She's doing all this weird stuff. There's a mystery somewhere, but they haven't really given us any sort of clue as to what this mystery might be. So every week, as she's sitting there looking in the widow's eyes,
there's too much cancer and depression in the way.
But exactly. I mean, they're doing so much crap.
Oh my God.
But she's sitting there being friends with the widow, and I'm like, you're not giving this woman the letter that he left behind. Or what about the life insurance? Now, more mystery. She's looking at the life insurance, and there's someone on there that she doesn't know. And so she asked the wife about it, and she's like, oh, he got a message from this person. And she's like, I've never heard that name. Why aren't you giving this information to the wife? It doesn't make any sense, and it's making me angry. Plus, you're throwing on all this other stupid, sad crap. It's like,
why are you watching this show?
Because I love the cast. That's been from day one. I was like, I love this cast of people. And now, though, I think I'm finally, because this week they played a trick on us that the assistant gave the widow all the information. And then it turned out she was just imagining that. Like a what if? What if I give it to her now? Now that I'm so late in giving her this information.
What a dumb tease.
Will she? Yeah. So that it set me off. I was like, I think I'm too angry now to deal with this.
You need to stop watching the show. I mean, look, I love Aaron Rodgers and Clay Matthews, but I'm about done with the Packers. So you can do it. Trust me.
I've given up most shows this year already. Most news shows I've given up. This was the last one that I just, because of the cast, I kept going, maybe I can hang on. But I think this might have been the last week. I think that might have did me in. It done me in. And
it might have done me in.
It might have done me in.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to put it out there because if other people are watching, so my mom and sister are loving the show. And that was kind of our text back and forth. My mom was like, oh, I love this show. And I was like, oh, I hate it. And there's too much sad stuff. And blah, blah, blah. And I just, I haven't looked at the ratings actually to see if it's doing well. I'm just, and actually, I'm kind of over This Is Us too. I'm going to stick with This Is Us this season, at least. but I'm kind of bored by it.
How much is just because of what's his name?
What do you mean?
You sticking with it just because of...
Sterling K. Brown?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the only family
okay.
unit. You know, there's all the families on there. I really only care about his story and his family's story. So yeah, that's the reason I'm sticking with it. And I'm along for the ride for the other stories, but they've lost a little magic this year.
They should end that show on a high, right? And have a spin-off with just his family, centered on his family, and every once in a while Chrissy Metz comes in
Right.
and the good-looking guy comes in. You know, they visit for Thanksgiving or whatever, but it's all centered around that family.
It's tough. It's a tough thing to keep a show going when you start it with a mystery, right? So the big thing was Jack dying. How did Jack die, and all of that sort of stuff. And so
okay.
we
look at it differently.
We got that out of the way, and now there's a new mystery of Jack's service in Vietnam this year that is being researched. And okay, yeah, but it's you know, everyone else's stories just aren't enough for me to keep me compelled to them, except for Sterling K. Brown's. So anyway, I went off on a tangent there. But
you did. Sorry, I did that.
Anyway, just talking about sad sex shows, and there you go. That was our sad sex show corner. Sad sex show corner.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not saying that again.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Okay. So that's all I'm going to talk about on TV this week. So there wasn't a lot going on. I mean, I didn't see any new movies, any like new in the theater movies. Not a lot going on there. So sorry, but
It's amazing how much time we can talk about something
I know
that
isn't
doesn't have much
really-
going on.
that no one really cares about. Okay. So now we're going to,
Thanks for listening.
yeah, appreciate it. So now we're going to get to our actors corner.
Oh.
And because of watching Homecoming, oh, he hit his head.
Clang.
Because of watching Homecoming this week, I decided we're going to do Julia Roberts, which is probably this was probably the hardest one. I thought Denzel was hard. This was really difficult. So let's just get to it and
Let's power through.
Yeah, go for it. So movie you love, Julia Roberts.
All right, I got down to 3.
I got 3 too.
Okay. So in no particular order, although I think I do have an actual order. I'm just going to say, these are in chronological order, right?
Whatever.
I put everything in chronological.
Okay.
Yeah, none of this matters. Sorry. Pretty Woman,
Okay.
Pelican Brief,
Okay.
and Notting Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knowing Notting Hill is your favorite.
Notting Hill is going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it combines with just about my favorite
Yeah.
male actor, which
Right.
is, Hugh Grant. So.
Yeah. That's not surprising. I'm a little surprised by Pretty Woman.
So I don't know if it's because I saw it right when it first came out.
Right.
I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it when it first came on rental, VHS.
Okay.
I was younger and more impressionable, fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Fantasized about Richard Gere's life in that movie and that sort of thing. There's a lot that got me in that movie.
Okay.
And the chemistry. So I know they tried again in Runaway Bride.
Which is better to me.
That's an honorable mention for me, but I think there's just stuff about that movie that bugs me. But that chemistry between Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, to me, is one of the all-time best on screen.
Okay.
That I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And then Pelican Brief, the interactions between her and Denzel is just fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we go.
So movie I love for me, America's Sweethearts.
Yep.
I mean, Billy Crystal wrote it. It's some of the funniest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
his humor.
Kiki.
And, yeah. Someone smoking within a 5-mile radius of where I'm standing.
How can they run out of butter?
Yeah. If I had an assistant, she'd be out there milking a cow, so I would never run out of butter. No, we haven't watched that a million times.
Oh, boy.
And number 2 is Runaway Bride. And again, Gary Marshall for me. And, which I understand. But if I had to choose between Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride, it would be Runaway Bride. And here's the puns of Gary Marshall are the best. So
Yep.
Joan Cusack playing Peggy Fleming, and her husband's radio show is Wake Up with Flem. And her hair salon's name is Curl Up and Dye. And I love it because to me, Pretty Woman, there was a lot of, the whole prostitution thing or whatever. In Runaway Bride, I just thought Julia was so much funnier and lighter, and I loved Richard Gere being lighter too. Like there was just it's just a more fun movie for me.
So for me, Runaway Bride, it's all about Joan Cusack.
Oh,
That's the best thing that movie has going.
okay.
Yeah.
And my number 3 and movie I love for her is Closer.
That's interesting.
Love that movie so much.
How long we been together?
16 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
We saw it in the theater together, though. I dragged you to the theater. to see
You
that.
did,
Yeah.
and I dragged myself out.
Love that. Okay.
So anyway,
Movie
go
you
ahead.
like?
So I got down to 3.
Me too.
Okay, so Hook. I really like Hook, and I know you think I haven't seen it, but I have.
Okay.
And we've seen a lot
She
of
has
parts.
such a small role in that
yeah,
that I
but
didn't.
it's so sweet. It's
wanna-
really good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really good.
I love that movie, but I was like, oh, she's not. center
Well,
stage,
see,
so.
here's the thing.
It's okay.
The way we set this up,
Yeah.
it's movie I like, not
Right.
performance
Yeah,
of hers.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just
So-
telling you that's how I thought of it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Go ahead.
America's Sweethearts.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Ocean's 12.
Yes.
Because
Best.
because it's her
Playing
somebody
herself.
else, playing somebody
Right.
else, playing her.
Right.
Oh, it's just
It's
great.
When Bruce
I'm
Willis walks into the room and she screams.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. There you go. There she is. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my 3.
Okay. My 3 that I like: Sleeping with the Enemy. Oh,
Yeah.
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Stepmom. Oh, crier.
Good
Just watched it a couple weeks ago too, and I hadn't seen it because it's not one I can watch all the time because it's so deep and dark. But she's so good in it. You know, stepmom is a hard role to play,
Mhm.
and she's. I love the role that she plays in that movie.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
great.
Okay.
And then Larry Crown,
Yeah.
which was tough. I'd like to put it in the movie I love. Again, she's great in that. She's just such a great. She's got it's a different thing for her.
It is.
and I could watch that movie.
She's such
Over
an
and over.
upbeat, positive person.
Right.
And then in this,
so when she plays like the drunk and the grumpy,
the
and
drunk,
I love
downtrodden,
that. Right.
like,
Right.
who gives a shit
Right.
kind of
Right.
person. It's like, yeah, that's
That's what I loved
interesting.
about her in Closer too, because it's just a different.
That was okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay,
that
movie
was
you
just too
hate.
much. Closer. It's on there. That's it.
I am sure.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I haven't. There's only a handful I haven't seen of hers, and nothing like anything I thought might have been bad, like Mary Riley that people said was bad. I haven't seen it, so
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't really pick one
Okay.
out that I hated of hers.
Yeah, I did not enjoy Closer at all, and it's really it was so disappointing to me because I like all 4 of those people, and I did not like a single thing about it.
Love it.
It bothered me and aggravated me so bad. It pissed me off.
Maybe you need to watch it again.
No, well, maybe. I don't want to, but I know how things go for me, and that
Yeah.
when I finally watch something a second time, I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I love
I'm conflicted.
it. Okay, movie you secretly love.
What was yours, Lee? Oh, you
I
don't have
don't
one.
have one.
Okay. Secretly Love. I put Larry Crown. I got 2. Larry
Okay.
Crown.
Okay.
And it's not really a secret. I really like that. I mean,
Right.
again, the chemistry between her and Hanks is really good considering they're like, in real life, they're like best friends. They're
Right.
great friends, and they don't have any romantic
Right.
inclination towards each other at all that we know of. And I would be surprised if they did, but they're... it's
you just can't hate that movie. And
Yeah,
if you,
you really
do, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wilmer Valderrama is just... It's great. in
Right.
it.
Well, yeah. All of
I can see you.
this is glass. I can see you.
Yeah. It's just so many good little lines in there.
Yes.
And the other one I secretly love is Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
Yes. So, I
watch Eat, Pray, Love probably once a week, but I will only watch the Italy part because I love to watch the food. And then it's like, I'll change it. And, I mean, I've seen the whole thing a few times, but,
I think I've only seen, I don't know that I've actually seen the whole thing, but the Italy stuff is maybe put it on my secretly love part.
That's funny.
Okay.
Movie I secretly love. I love Trouble. Her and Nick Nolte. It's a hated movie. People hated this movie, and I love it. It is one that I wish was on every day. It's just this throwback. They're like investigative journalists, and they're they each work for, you know, the competing newspaper, and they're trying to figure out this story. And it's just a classic. It felt very throwback to like them trying to just take each other down, but I love it, and I love the mystery of it too. I actually like the story they're investigating and all of that.
So I've seen the title and I know of it. I actually didn't know it was Nick Nolte opposite her.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy? Is it a drama?
It's a
dramedy.
There's not drama to it. No, it's a comedy, but it's like it's not a laugh out loud comedy. It's a caper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It felt like a throwback to kind of 40s movies, like, you know, wearing the trench coat and investigating, and, you know, and the cat and mouse between the two of them, you know,
okay.
And then them maybe falling in love and that sort of thing. I love it.
Okay. Sorry, I just realized that we had a conversation this morning about capers. And,
yeah.
And I didn't know that.
Okay.
It's the budding flower of a bush.
Movie you've embarrassed that you haven't seen.
Okay. Again, I got down to 2.
Okay.
Mystic Pizza.
What?
This is why I'm so embarrassed. Please don't.
You should be very embarrassed.
I am. I'm borderline ashamed.
Okay. We'll watch that soon then.
Okay. And My Best Friend's Wedding.
What? Oh, I forgot to point out, actually, in Homecoming, her boyfriend in the movie for half the movie is Dermot Mulroney. They're together again. Woohoo!
See, they got great chemistry. I know that.
Yes, they do.
And I've never even seen it.
How have you not seen it? We're done. Thanks for listening, people. We gotta go because this has to happen right now. I don't understand.
Julia Roberts marathon stat.
I cannot be married to you anymore.
Well, so we've got a lot of stuff to hash out after the show because you love Closer, and I don't know that I can.
That's not as important as My Best Friend's Wedding.
I don't know that I can go on with this relationship.
Embarrassed. I haven't seen Wonder. That's her latest one with the boy.
Yeah.
I've had it. I recorded it. I've done, and it's just, I know it's such a crier. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it.
Okay.
But I want to, but I just know I have to be in that mood.
So we've got problems. Because you just told me that you've stuck with a show for 7 or 8 weeks now that just continues to
But
make
I don't
you feel...
cry. It's not good. So I don't cry and I don't care. This movie I know is going to get me. And
but that's what you like.
But I'm not in the mood all the time to cry.
You're in the mood for an hour every week.
I have it on while I'm working.
Okay.
And, you know, and it's just...
All right.
Anyway,
it's okay.
yeah,
I'm
thanks.
sorry. I'll feel...
and what are you adding to your watch list?
Wonder.
Timing, people. We got it. I can see. He's showing me the paper like he's lying.
I am not making it up.
Yeah. Okay. And for me, it's actually her new one that comes out next month called Ben is Back. I cannot wait to see it with her and Lucas Hedges.
I saw the thing for
that's
that on
gonna be a
IMDb.
killer. Yeah. So I'm going to go through my honorable mentions, see if, and there's a lot because she's in a million things. August Osage County was a good movie. Valentine's Day, of course, her role in that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Eat, Pray, Love, you said. Fireflies in the Garden was a good one. It was her and Ryan Reynolds, and it was an interesting story. The Mexican with Brad Pitt, it's a classic. Mona Lisa Smile, I watch a lot and I cry every single time. Love it. Money Monster, we watch a lot.
Too.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I've got 4 honorable mentions on mine, and you've hit 3.
Okay. Mother's Day, don't really like her role in that so much, but I do love the movie. I put Ocean's 11 and 12. 12 is definitely hers for sure.
Yeah.
Erin Brockovich, you can't talk about her without talking about that movie.
Yep.
Secret in Their Eyes, that's when her daughter's killed and she's a cop. It was an okay movie. I liked her in it a whole lot.
How many do you have?
Oh, a whole bunch. Mystic Pizza, which, you know, we're going to take care of. Satisfaction was the first movie I ever saw her in. Wasn't great, but have to mention it because it was her first.
Okay.
Steel Magnolias, of course. I could start.
Yeah. I know that's a lot of people. That's on a lot of people's list. Yeah.
Okay, you haven't seen it if that's
I've
the case.
seen enough of it. I mean, it's okay. I like it.
I could recite the whole thing for you now if you'd like me to.
No.
Blush and Bashful. Her colors are blush and bashful.
Thank you. It's okay to stop now.
One color is much darker than the other.
Move on.
Flatliners.
Yep, I remember.
Great, fun, good.
Fun?
It was fun. So sorry, everyone. I had Pretty Woman, Hook, Dying Young. Ooh, crier.
You're just doing a filmography now.
Something to talk about, because these are all good. Something to talk about is great. My Best Friend's Wedding is great. Notting Hill is great. I mean, I couldn't not mention these. They're all fantastic movies that I have watched a million times. And then one that is my absolute favorite, also, Everyone Says I Love You. I didn't put it on her list because she has a very small role in it, but it's Woody Allen's musical that I love and love and love.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that's why it didn't make her list, because I didn't feel like it's her movie.
Okay.
But I love it.
All right.
Which ones did I miss of
You
yours?
actually missed one.
Okay.
I can't. This has to be the only one you left off.
Okay.
Charlie Wilson's War.
I saw it, I think, once, maybe, but I don't remember.
It's interesting how we...
Yeah.
it's her and Hanks. I mean, I thought it was...
I don't think I saw the whole thing. I don't think I remember seeing the whole thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that doesn't make my list.
Interesting.
Yeah. But point is, Julia Roberts has a million movies that are loved.
One of the all-time
ones
best.
that I cry the hardest at, and then that I can laugh the hardest at. And
yeah, for this generation, she's one of the top 5.
It's just, and it's like one of those things where, again, you know it, but until I'm sitting there and I'm trying to put this list together,
right?
You just don't realize.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, that's Julia Roberts. We love her, and definitely check out Homecoming, and her movie Ben is Back comes out soon.
Yep.
Check that out.
Yes.
All right, I think we are good for this week.
Okay.
And we will be back next week with a whole nother thing. Check out Pop Culture Nickel, the other podcast.
Yep.
And that's it. Come back and listen to us next week. Until then, I'll be watching my stories.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.